we can officially start with the meeting. So welcome everyone to the SHIELD PCP informative webinar. I'm very happy to see so many participants joining us today. We're very happy with the interest. My name is Nina Czyżewska. I'm the project manager for SHIELD PCP, and I would like to start today's meeting with the introduction to the project. So how the SHIELD PCP project started? Before SHIELD PCP, we had a project called SHIELD for Crowd, which laid the foundation for the European approach to protecting public spaces through innovating pre-commercial procurement. The goal of that project was to understand what are the needs and gaps when it comes to the protection of public spaces. We are looking at the most common challenges and vulnerabilities, and we're also mapping the technologies that are currently available on the market. And based on that, we identified a common challenge for which we want to have future PCP, which is continued in the current SHIELD PCP project.
PCP project.
Yes, the SHIELD PCP project. So the challenge that we identified is the fact that public spaces very often host a large and dynamic crowds. And here we're talking not only about stadiums or shopping malls or other public spaces, but also daily urban spaces, public transportation. And to ensure safety in such environment, it requires a real-time coordination between different agencies, also reliable communication and accurate solution awareness. So we have SHIELD PCP project to answer to those challenges, and we are focusing on 4 capability areas, which are common center coordination with the aim to integrate data and control systems for real-time management. Then we have secure communication to ensure reliable information flow between first responders and the public. We also focus on crowd monitoring, the analysis in real time of crowd density, movement, and abnormal behaviors. And lastly, but not least, the movement monitoring, so detection of movement patterns and when needed, focusing only on specific individuals or support or groups to support the timely response of security practitioners. So what are the expected results of the SHIELD PCP project? Well, it is a pre-commercial process, so we will develop and test prototype solutions, and those will be tested in real operational environment in 3 countries, in France, Spain, and Slovakia. And as the project will not deliver market-ready products, it will provide the tested concepts and clear roadmap for future deployment through PPI or other mechanisms. And this approach aims to strengthen cooperation, drive innovation, and improve Europe's capacity to protect public spaces. So as I said, at the end of the project, we'll not have a market-ready solution, but a tested concept. So here you can see what are the expected tier levels for each phase of the PCP. So for phase 1, which focuses on the solution design, we expect the tier level 3 or 4. For phase 2, which is the prototype development and integration, we are expecting tier level 5 or 6. And for the last phase, phase 3 validation in real operational environment, here we are expecting the tier 7 and 8. And those tier levels are defined as it is in the European Commission's guidebook for the Horizon Europe's projects. So a little bit more about the SHIELD PCP consortium, who is behind the project. So we have Corvus Procurement Services as the coordinator of the project and our procurement expert. We have 4 public buyers, which is the French Ministry of Interior, Spanish Ministry of Interior, Slovak Ministry of Interior, and SNCF. We have 1 additional end users, which is SME Institute from Slovakia. We have partners who are supporting us with technical and legal aspects. So here we have ISDEFE, CVPol, Novadays, DGNOP, SAFE, and we also have us as Polish platform for Homeland Security. So what are the objectives of today's webinar and what is the key takeaway for participants? First of all, you will have the opportunity to discover and explore more about the SHIELD PCP project, the challenges and the opportunities that are for you. To understand the rules, so you will learn about the PCP process, the eligibility requirements, the evaluation criteria, the timeline. You will also learn how to prepare a competitive proposal, so you'll understand the tender documentations and the key requirements to submit your proposals. There will be also time to master this. You will also get the chance to master the submission process, so you'll learn how to use our e-procurement platform and how to submit your application. In this procurement, we are using the Cucogare platform, and you will have the chance to connect with the SHIELD PCP team. We will answer your questions at the end of the event today, and there will be also an opportunity to ask us questions via the platform, and all the questions together with the answers will be published on our website. So moving forward, now we can go to the overview of the PCP procedure. So Norma, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nina, for this nice introduction to the topic. Well, good morning all. I'm Norma Devine, the lead buyer of SHIELD PCP project. So now I'm going to introduce you to the PCP overview, to give you an overview of the PCP procedure. So PCP is not a traditional, is not a common public tender because the PCP rules is to buy research and development to create a new solution. Several providers compete in parallel each phase. So the field narrows each time from phase 1 till phase 3. The companies keep ownership of their IPR, and solution must be genuinely innovative. So the target is to buy a solution that doesn't exist yet on the market, and it's flexible phased means that we are out of the EU procurement directives instead of compared to traditional procurement, I mean. So first, as you can see on this scheme, the first phase aims at designing a solution on paper. So it lasts 3 months. Then the step 2, phase 2, I mean, the objective is to develop a prototype and to integrate that. And on phase 3, the last phase, it's a validation in real operation environment. So for phase 3, the testing of the solution will take place in 3 pilot sites in Slovakia, Spain, then at the end, France. Well, regarding the implementation of PCP, the PCP will be implemented by means of a framework agreement called Tender Document 2 with call-offs for specific contracts, TD3, 4, and 5 for each of the PCP phases. So following the tendering stage, a framework agreement and specific contract for phase 1 will be awarded to 5 contractors. Then only tenders from the contractors that successfully completed phase 1 will be eligible for phase 2. A call-off will be organized for phase 2 to award 3 contracts. And at the end, for phase 3, only tenders from contractors that successfully completed phase 2 will be eligible for the last phase 3. So that's why I explained you that the field narrows step by step each time. To deal with the call of tender on a nutshell, so for phase 1, a solution design will be developed only on paper. So this phase lasts 3 months, and we start from 5 contractors to be eligible. Then on phase 3, a prototype development and integration will be done, and it will last 9 months with 3 contractors. And then at the end, only 2 contractors will be eligible. And this step aims at validating in real operational environment. So here you have a little board describing you per phases the maximum budget per contractor. So for phase 1, the maximum budget is 90,000 euros. For phase 2, 750 euros. For phase 3, 487,000 euros. For a total estimated budget for 3 phases of 3,675,000 euros. So as I told you, there are some advantages for companies to tender. Because one interested thing is the intellectual property rights is yours, stays yours. So suppliers keep the IPRs of the result generated during the PCP. The public buyers have the right to require the contractors to grant non-exclusive licenses to third parties under fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory conditions. A second would be also that cash up front, because 30% is paid on signature in phase 1. And then for phases 2 and 3, 50% money is in your hand. So to finance research and development and not just on the delivery. And now let's move to the topic on submitting, how to submit your tender. So don't be impressed by the bundle of documents that you could find on the platform. Actually, the first step to explain you one by one the tender document, we have a framework, the call for tender at first TD1 and TD2, giving you the frame of the agreement. Then tender document 3 to 5 explains you the phases, described phases 1, 2, and 3 contracts. On tender document 6, you have the end of phase report. Tender document 7, contractors detail and abstracts. Then on TD8, this is the technical form. On TD9, you also have a financial form to fill. Actually, to go into the details, you will fill twice financial details. First, directly on the Tutogare platform, and on second, the financial form has to be filled itself. For TD10, this is the ESPD. TD11, the consortia statement, and TD12, the non-disclosure agreement. So non-disclosure agreement is really important for you to get all the details in order to give how to say, prepare your best offer. So first of all, if I can give you an advice, you have to fill this form, the non-disclosure agreement, to submit via the platform by a message, and you will see a description on how to do it later directly with Studio Amica. My colleague, Mr. Gianmarco Rizzo, will introduce you to get those confidential information and annexes. So one platform and 3 envelopes. So envelope A, it's the administrative envelope. The B, the technical one with technical form, and here you have the description of maximum 50 pages and pre-existing right list. And the envelope C with your financial form, giving us the price in euro, excluding VAT with shared IPR discount. So as I explained before, first of all, step 1, you have to sign the NDA, the TD12. Send the signed NDA via the platform secure messages. And I will send you the confidential annexes. On step 2, once validated, I will send you the confidential technical requirements. It will allow you on step 3 to build a precise tender. So the non-disclosure agreement is really important. Why it matters? Because the confidential annexes hold the exact technical requirements, the evaluation KPIs, and the detailed pilot scenarios. On criterion A, 70 out of 100 point scores, you match with precisely those requirements, and without them, you bid is blind. It's not a selection of exclusion criterion. Every provider can request an access on equal terms. So on the envelope A, as I explained, get the administrative file right. So ESPD, the TD11 to sign together for all members who is going to complete the consortia statement. Check signature authority signed by a representative listed in the trade or professional register. Declare subcontracting in the ESPD, and 1 tender per entity in any role. Solo consortium member, subcontractor, or third party appear in more than 1 tender, and all tenders involved are excluded. Regarding the technical form, so the hard limits is to not go beyond 50 pages. Excess pages are simply not evaluated, and it would be a pity for you. So annex is kept at 70 plus 75 pages. Use them for images and screenshots of your solution. It's a manner which is encouraged. So I remind you the language is full English, translation at your cost, and no reservation or equivocal cover letters. The offer must be unqualified. So TD8 must contain, First, public project summary. Second, technical offer answered criterion by criterion in the forms table. Third, project plan and the PM methodology covering all three phases with resources. And fourth, draft business plan, your route to commercial exploitation. The fifth is the risk assessment and mitigation strategy. And at the end, declaration, pre-existing rights, background IPR, and Russian participation. Regarding the envelope C, financial form, kindly remind you, so you have to fill twice. One directly on the platform and the second to fill the financial form with the signature and the stamp. So how to price on an Excel template. And binding unit prices for the whole framework agreement, hourly rates per profile, a fixed total price for phase 1, and an estimated maximum totals for phase 2 and 3. So all amounts will be in euros, excluding VAT. Stays inside the limit. So maximum 90k euros, 700k, and 487 per phase, I mean. And we are going to check the products, the breakdown by country and location of activities, your evidence for the 70% place of performance rules, staff list, the names, roles, location, subcontractors flag. These people are then required to execute the contract. And two totals, exclusive development price versus shared IPR price. Your IPR discount must be shown and visible. So the common pitfall and how to avoid them. So to request the NDA is really important to get the full list of requirements. To submit the question in writing before the 23rd of June. At third, propose something genuinely new and modular to address every weighted requirement with evidence and build the shared IPR discount into your price. And at the end, what to do, communicate only through the platform to, it's a question of equity between tenderers. So please do not pitch an off-the-shelf product or miss the 70% place of performance rule, or even put a document in the wrong envelope. So please be careful among three envelopes, A, B, and C. And avoid exceeding the 50 pages technical form limit, because beyond 50, your offer won't be evaluated. And contract buyers outside the platform. So it's a risk of exclusion. And please also do not wait the last minute to submit your offer, because you never know, sometimes a platform could have misfunctions. So you never know, please submit your tender before and add reservations or conditions to your offer. So after phase 3, why it's also important and it matters to you. So commercial exploitation, you're expected to bring the validated solution to market, best effort within the 2 years. A possible follow-up in PPI, a later procurement of innovative solution could be deployable with big volumes, and also standards and dissemination to contribute to European international standards and publish results with approval. So now I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Gianmarco Rizzo in order to show you more concretely how to submit your tender and also how to use the electronic procurement platform Tutogare. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I am Gianmarco Rizzo, and I work at Studio Amica, which is an Italian software house. And we are a leader in the field of public procurement with a particular focus on innovation procurement. And today I will I will walk you through how to use our platform in order to take part in the SHIELD PCP procedure. So let me share my screen so I can show you. Okay, this is a demo platform, and it is exactly the same as the Civipol platform. I'm showing you now the official Civipol platform with a call for tender that you can reach directly from the homepage. And this is our demo environment where I will show you how to participate. So first of all, let's talk about the registration. How you can register to Tutogare. You can see on the homepage the green button, and if you click on it, you can view and fill in the registration form. These are the information you need to fill in, an email address and a password, which you will use as your credentials, the name and surname of a contact person from your company or institution, and then the name, country, type, and tax code of your company or institution. Where you see PEC address, this is about the Italian certified emails. So if you are Italian, please enter your certified email address. If you are not Italian, you can just enter your ordinary email address. And then you will go on with declaring your CPV categories, which you can find through the keywords here, or you can choose them from the list. Okay, you will accept all the declarations needed, and then you will click on the register button. Once you click on the register button, you will receive an email, which I will show you from the official user guide of SHIELD PCP. When you receive an email, sometimes you will get directly the link through which you can confirm your registration. Sometimes you will receive, depending on your mail provider, you can receive an EML attachment file. If you click on the EML file, you will get the link. So either way, you can click on the link and your account will be instantly activated. It's a real-time operation, so you don't need to wait for any authorization or any other operations from the system or the contracting authority. You are directly registered when you confirm your email address. Let's see how to log in. It's really easy. You can click on the appropriate button and enter your email address and password. I will log in now with an economic operator account. Okay, and this is, you are now logged in, so this is your economic operator private area. As you can see, the active PCP tenders are viewable directly from the homepage. So you can click on the object, on the name of the tender, and this is the detail page of the tender. Of course, this is a demo environment, so all the information you see are fictitious. When you are logged in, you can see the participate button, which we will click in a moment, and then the tender information, the CPV categories, the phase information, because you can move from phase 1, I will show you, to phase 2, and then phase 3. So you can see for each phase all the details of such a phase, the milestones and deliverables provided for each phase, the deadlines for questions, for the submission of tenders, and the date of the envelope opening. The public notices, if, for example, the contracting authority issues a public notice, you can see it on the home page, but also in the detail page of the tender. And then one or more attachments, in this case, for example, the call for tenders, and then the questions section. As you can see, some questions are already have already been made public by the contracting authority. So you will see the question and the answer. In this case, there are 2 of them. And you can submit one more question by clicking on the button and entering your question. You can also attach any files if you need it, and then submit your question. Okay. Of course, as you have read in the call for tender, you can use, I mean, you have to use this task also to send the contracting authority your signed NDA in order to receive the confidential documentation related to this tender. So you can use the question task both for asking for clarification and to send the NDA to receive the confidential attachments. So I will show you now. If you go to the messages section of your menu, which is on the left, first of all, when you see the yellow dot next to the messages section, that means you have received some messages which you haven't read yet. So you can enter your messages section and you can see, for example, when the contracting authority answered to your question. In this case, this supplier received submitted 2 questions and received just 1 answer yet. You can check all this information, all this notification through the messages section, and be aware each message on this page represents an email that you received to your inbox. So notifications are received both on the platform and on your inbox. Okay, so now we can go back to the tender and we can participate in the tender. Okay, first of all, you have to declare the group of economic operators or the consortium if you are not participating alone. So you will click on the Add button. You will choose the country of the partner company, of the consortium company, the business tax code, the business name, and you will select joint tenderer. Okay, for the purposes of this tender, don't use the consortium member label, just use the joint tenderer, whatever your group is. You can add as many participants as you need, and you can also delete it or modify this information. I will now read this alert, which is really important. Please note that joint tenders will not be lead tenderers, can also register on the platform, but are not mandated to do so. Be careful, because in any case, joint tenderers must not submit any tender documentation. That responsibility remains within the lead tenderer only. So if you are the lead tenderer, you are the only entity entitled to take part and submit your tender. If you are not the lead tenderer, if you are a joint tenderer or a consortium member, you are not entitled to submit anything. Be careful, because this can lead to administrative problems or even exclusions from the tender. Okay, now let's go down to the envelopes. As you can see, you will view the three envelopes, the administrative, technical, and financial envelopes. Some of the slots may be mandatory, and they will be colored in red, and they will be labeled with the related label. Some of them, which are yellow, are not mandatory. So you, in order to participate, you need to submit all the mandatory slots at least. Okay, let's go and upload okay, just give me a moment. Okay, for example, we can upload this one. Okay, as you can see, it's really easy. You will upload your file and then enter a password. This password is necessary to encrypt your documents, and then you will upload and confirm your uploading. Okay, operation completed successfully. We can go back to the panel, and okay, so this has turned green, and you can read submitted, so it means we did a good job. Now let's go on with the technical offer. Let's upload the same file, and let's enter the password, which can be the same for all the documents, or it can be different for each file. Okay, this has turned green too. So now let's go to the financial offer, which is slightly different, because in this case, you will see two slots, not one like in this demo tender. The first slot is the financial offer that you have to generate on screen. So you would click on generate offer document. And as you can see, there are 6 fields in this form. 3 fields have to be used to enter the actual price offered for phase 1, 2, and 3, and the other 3 fields must be used to enter the virtual price for phase, again, 1, 2, and 3. What's the difference? The actual price is the price that you are offering the contracting authority in, or the real price you're offering in order to be awarded this contract. The virtual price, on the other hand, is the price that you would offer if this was a standard procurement, not an innovation procurement, and if you will share your IPR rights with the contracting authority. So, of course, the actual price must be lower than virtual price. So let's enter some fictitious numbers. Okay, and also in the virtual price. Okay, good. Let's enter a new password again to encrypt this file as well, and generate our offer. Okay, we can download our offer, and this is it. As you can see, this is our PDF with our actual prices and our virtual prices, and also the compensation, which is so the difference between the virtual and the actual price, which is calculated automatically by the system. So we can upload the file that we have downloaded. Okay, and we can enter password, encryption password, and upload it too. Okay, so now we have submitted all the mandatory documentation. Of course, in the real environment, in the civil pool tender, you will have more than just this slots. So, for example, 2 slots for the financial offer, one based on the offer generated on screen, and the other one, which is your template that you have to fill in, and so on. Now that we have filled all the mandatory slots, the system warns us that the tender has not been submitted yet. So we can click on one of the submit buttons, and this is it. Your participation has been successfully submitted. If you go to the messages section now, you can view the message, the related message, and again, this is also an email that you receive on your inbox. So that is it for me. Thank you for your time. I don't know if you have questions. I'm pleased to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Gianmarco. Maybe it will be easier to answer the questions for the platform now in case we will have to show anything. And we can take the questions regarding the PCP procedure at the end. So I saw there was a question in the chat. Yeah, just a second. Yeah, there was a question if it is possible to add more individual accounts to an existing economic operator.
The answer is no, it's not possible. The economic operator has just one official account. with one username and one password, and that must be used for all the company or institution.
There is another question if the providers can apply some changes after their offer has been submitted.
Of course, they can cancel, withdraw their participation, or they can just change one document, one file. They can regenerate the financial offer on screen if they made any mistakes. Of course, within the deadline established by the contracting authority.
Okay, there is a question. What is the expected value for tax code field in organization? As physical persons don't have such a thing in most countries, that would match validations.
The tax code is the business tax code, of course. If you are a professional, that field is not mandatory, but the tax code is the company tax code, of course.
Okay, I'm checking the questions. I see that there are other related to the procedure, so we'll take them later. Yeah, there was a question if there is a way to find more pre-commercial procurement and how to. So on the platform, I guess they are closed, like the ones that are not active, but maybe you can say more about other ones that there are.
Yes, you cannot find other PCP tenders on the Civical platform unless Civical decides to open a new PCP tender. So this is the Civical PCP platform, and you can find tenders only from this lead procurer.
Are there any other questions related to Togare platform or how to use it? Not. Thank you, Gianmarco. We can go back to the presentations, and for the other questions, we'll take them at the end.
I'll stay here if you have any questions later. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so getting back to the presentation, now we'll have Patrick.
Yes, actually, can you go to the next slide? Just ensure that.
Sure.
Please. Okay. Yeah. So the idea, so the title was a little bit, I think, incorrect. So the idea of this last part is just to explain a little bit how the offers are going to be evaluated. So just to do a small recap, so Norma already explained what is a pre-commercial procurement. So in this case, what we are aiming to buy is the development of a solution, so research and development services, not the solution itself. And you also checked how the PCP works. So basically, we will start with more than one suppliers working at the same time in different the development of different solutions, and then in the different phases, this number will be reduced depending on the performance in the previous phase. So how we are gonna deal with the tenders, or the proposals we receive. So first, after we receive all the proposals after the deadline, on the 26th of August, we will open the tenders. So that means that we will start with the procedure that I will explain in the upcoming slides. So the evaluation will go from the 26th of August until the 22nd of October. This implies several steps that I will mention later. And then the expected time to award to notify the award of the contract will be the 23rd of October. So by that time, you can expect to know if you have been selected as a contractor or not. A small disclaimer, of course, this is the planning we have at this point. We aim to stick to that planning as much as we can, but in case something happens that needs a small adjustment, we will adjust it as needed. So you know that this is not written in stone, that we have the flexibility to change it, but we will try to comply with the dates that you can see here as much as we can. Please, can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So what I wanted to explain here is the requirements to participate and also the evaluation criteria. So as you can see here in this graphic, we have the eligibility. So basically, if you are eligible to participate or not. And then we have some criteria, the exclusion criteria, the selection criteria. Then we evaluate the compliance criteria, the award criteria, and then we take the final decisions. And I will, of course, explain this in detail. But the first point is if you can participate or if you cannot participate. In this case, in this PCP tender, the participation is open to everybody, but the economic operators need to be established and controlled from an EU member state or Horizon Europe associated countries. This is pretty, let's say, open because the Horizon Europe associated countries are almost all of them, not all, but almost all. And here you can see in the tender documents more details about what is understood by control and established. But the idea is that, the main contractor needs to be from a EU member state or associated country. Of course, the PCP is also not open to those entities that are subjected to restrictive measures, meaning sanctions. We can think about, for example, Iran is one of these countries, just to mention one, Russia as well. So in principle, because we are in a EU-funded pre-commercial procurement, they cannot participate. It was mentioned before, but of course you can decide to participate as a single entity, as a company, or you may decide to join effort with other companies and create a consortium. This will depend, of course, on your capabilities. As you will see, if you already have the documents concerning the requirements and more specific details, the confidential annexes, that the challenges need to comply with quite a lot of requirements. So it may happen that by yourself you don't have all the capabilities, but you can join effort with other companies, and together you do have the capabilities to participate. So we encourage you to keep an eye on this possibility. We also have a matchmaking platform in the website in case you are interested, in order to find the partners for the challenge. And each tender consortium member or subcontractor, and this is very important, needs to complete the ESPD TD10. So if you decide to participate as a consortium, not only the lead contractor or the main the company needs to submit the ESPD, but also the subcontractors and the other partners in the consortium. And this is important, please. If we go to the next slide. Thank you. So once we have identified that you are eligible, so basically you comply with the requirements I mentioned before, the next step is to check if some of these exclusion criteria apply to you, because if any of them apply to you, then you will be automatically excluded. Here you can see the tables in this and the next slides that are in the tender documents. So you already identified it and get familiar with them. So all this information is explained in way more detail in the tender document number 1, the call for tenders. But I think it's important to give you a general idea, and then you know the criteria that will apply to your case. So the exclusions criteria are grounds related to criminal convictions, lack of payment of taxes or social security contributions, insolvency of professional misconduct, conflict of interest, or distortion of competition. Meaning that if any of them apply to you, you are considered as not reliable, and then we cannot continue with the procedure. So you will be excluded. Of course, there is the exception of the self-cleaning measures. So if you prove to the contracting authority that you took measures in order to correct the situation and that you have recovered your reliability, let's say, then of course these measures will be assessed, and if they are sufficient, then you will be still accepted. There is also the possibility that the public buyer asks for clarifications if something is not clear, but this is a possibility and not an obligation, so don't rely on that and try to send all the documents on time. But if something is unclear, for example, concerning a conflict of interest or any other aspects, then we will contact you and ask for clarifications. Next slide, please. So the next step is evaluate the selection criteria. So this basically assess your capabilities as suppliers to comply with the challenge. From a financial perspective, in order to ensure that you have the financial capability and you will be able to deal with the execution of the contract, but also that you have the technical capabilities to successfully implement the contract. No? So here you can see the selection criteria that we are asking in this case and the evidence to prove that. And I'm gonna also link with one question that I saw in the chat, if I may already do a little bit of a spoiler, Nina, because somebody was asking about some evidence that they don't have a template, a specific template, no? And for example, is the CVs. In this case, we are not asking to submit a specific template, so you can submit the document that in any case is applicable. No? For example, the first case, suitability to pursue the professional activity, we ask for proof of enrollment in a professional or trade register. Of course, this will be different, a different document in one country or other. So for example, I imagine it's not the same in Spain that in the Netherlands or in Finland. No? So what we want is a proof that you have been registered in the relevant register, but it's not a specific template, but the document that any member state will give you. The same with the other aspect, no, the project management role, the ability and experience of the personnel, demonstration of expertise and working experience. As you see, in these three cases, we are asking for CVs. What we want to check if does the team that will develop the contract or that will implement the contract has the experience and capabilities in different aspects. So as I mentioned, in the tender document, this is more detailed, and you see in which specific domains you need to prove the capability. But in this case, it's sufficient with the CV of the persons that will be executing the contract. There is not a specific template for CV. Of course, we don't want also like a super extensive CV, but the CV needs to show that the people will comply with the expertise that is required in the tender documents. We also ask for previous experience, so at least one reference from a project implemented within the last 3 years. We also ask for proof of availability of testing facilities. You find a little bit more details on how to prove this in the tender documents, but again, there is no template in this case. And the final requirement is concerning the financial standing. So if you are solvent enough, and then for this you need to submit a proof of financial resources, at least equal to the estimated contract value for phase 1. So this is not very challenging because we give you a lot of possibilities to prove this. So we are not only asking about turnover, but you could decided to prove it in a different way. So to make it as easy as possible for all of you. What happens if you don't comply with one of these criteria? Well, these are key criteria. So unfortunately, if you don't comply with them, you will be excluded. That's why we put emphasis on if you don't have the capabilities, make sure to get a partner that together you may comply with this. The same way, if something is not clear, we will ask for clarification if we deem it necessary. The selection criteria will be the same, not only for phase 1, but also for phase 2 and phase 3. So we mentioned before, no? After phase 1, we will invite some of the contractors to submit a tender for phase 2 and the same in phase 3. So in this case, the selection criteria will remain the same. And then any changes in the personnel that is executing the contract needs to be approved by the lead procurers, so by the public buyers, because we need to ensure that at any point the personnel still have the competences and experience that is required. Next slide, please. Okay, so now that we assess the companies, capabilities and eligibility, now we move to assess the tenders, the proposals. So the first thing we want to ensure is that the proposals that you submit comply with certain criteria, certain obligations that in any case need to be observed. No? And we have here, of course, the definition of research and development services. As I mentioned before, we are not buying a solution, but the development of the solution, and this has to be clearly explained in the TD8, in the technical form. Also, that you comply with a requirement concerning the place of performance. So in this case, at least 70% of activities need to be performed in European territory or the territory of an associated country. And then, of course, you need to explain how you comply with relevant regulations, GDPR, Artificial Intelligence Act, NIS Directive, etc. That the solution is not available in the market, because of course, if it is available in the market, then there is no point, no? And then compatibility with other public finances. So in this case, as I mentioned, this is a PCP funded by the European Commission, so we cannot have a problem of double funding. So you need also to prove that if you are receiving any other funding for the same project, so for the same solution, you need to explain why or why not they are incompatible, and they are compatible. The same in this case. So if some of this aspect is not observed, then the tender will not be further evaluated. We also may request for clarifications, and as in the previous case, the compliance criteria will be the same for the upcoming phases. Next slide, please. Thank you. And here we go now into the evaluation of the offer itself, no? Meaning the technical evaluation and the financial evaluation. In this PCP, the distribution is 90-10, meaning that 90 points will correspond to the technical offers and 10 points will correspond to the financial offers. So as you can see, we give way more importance to the quality of the solution and in the innovative character than to the price itself. However, the price is still important because it's 10 points, and you may want to be as well a little bit competitive as, in order to ensure that you get as many points as you can. Here on the left side, now you see a table with the very summarized table of the award criteria. So we have the impact of the challenge, and here we will assess the level of matching with the requirements and the commercial potential. This is very summarized, as I mentioned, but if you go to the call for tenders, you will see that, for example, in the level of matching with the requirements, you have different categories of requirements and the specific weight that is assigned to each category. The same with the commercial potential. We also have sub-criteria. Then we will assess the validity of the technical approach, meaning the quality of the methodology, the technical validity and robustness of the solution, and then the quality of the tender. And in the quality of the tender, we will assess, well, if everything is coherent, no, and everything in the proposal is integrated and makes sense, and the project management methodology, because as you will see, this is a very complex challenge, let's say, and we need to ensure also that there is a good project management structure in place in order to comply and to ensure that everything runs smoothly. So yeah, this is like the maximum point, and you can see also that you have some thresholds. What this means? Well, the thresholds means that in any of the categories or criteria or sub-criteria, you need to reach at least 50%. I think somebody has the
Hay una
mic.
reunión de SHIELD PCP con todos los criterios y cómo hacen las evaluaciones y todo esto, y estoy intentando ver
I think
quién es esta
somebody
chica.
has the mic open.
Actriz
If you
Gómez
can.
Fariñas.
Yeah, that's me.
Hombres.
Just a second. Let me mute it.
Interesante.
I don't know, Nina, if you can mute the
Yeah,
participant.
just give me a
Un montón
second.
de gente aquí. Está Nina.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, Beatrice.
thank you. No worries, it happens sometimes. Okay, so I was saying that, yeah, we will check, we have the thresholds, And the threshold means that in any criteria or sub-criteria, your offer needs to have a minimum number of points, which is half of the maximum points, in order to ensure that you at least comply, partially with all the different categories of requirements and all the different aspects of the weighted work criteria. So this is the minimum threshold. If you don't reach the minimum threshold in any criteria, then you will be, the offer will not be accepted. The same that in the previous case, this is the weighted award criteria for phase 1, but it would also be applicable to phase 2 and phase 3. However, we also are able to refine a little bit the sub-criteria, so not the main categories, but the sub-criteria and the weight, in order to adjust it to the performance or development of the previous phase. No, we need to, of course, be a little bit flexible and also see, okay, what happened in the previous phase, and perhaps after that we need to refine a little bit the requirements to ensure that they make sense for the next stage. No? But this will be in any case the base. Next slide, please. Yes, and this is concerning the remaining 10%. The remaining 10 points will be the financial evaluation. How we are going to evaluate it? Well, we are using a formula that is combined, meaning that we take into account the phase 1 price, which will have more weight, and then the combined phase for combined prices for phase 1, 2, and 3. So in this case, how it works? So of course you are submitting a financial offer for phase 1, but we already also want you to indicate a estimation for phase 2 and phase 3 that will also be taken into account in the formula. As you can see, phase 1 will have more points. Actually, I'm seeing that this is not correct, because now in the tender documents you will see that phase 1 has 4 points and the combined phase 1-3 price has 6 points, meaning that in total phase 1 has 6 points, because we take into account the phase 1 price in the two parts of the formula, and then the estimation for phase 2 and the estimation for phase 3 have 2 points each. We are talking here about the price with shared IPRs. So Norma already mentioned before when she talked about the IPRs that we are we ask for a real price, let's say, of the solution in case you, as supplier, will give the ownership to the intellectual property rights to the contractors, so to the public buyers, but also a scenario in which you take into account that you will keep the ownership of the intellectual property rights and you will be able to exploit it, and therefore this needs to be translated in a reduced price for the public buyers, because they are not going to keep the ownership of the IPRs at the end of the PCP. So this is the one that we are going to take into account to apply the formula. Of course, the lower is the price, the more points you get, but down to a minimum price. No, and you can see here in the other side that in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, we have a maximum per contractor, so your offer cannot go beyond that maximum, but also we have a minimum, which is 50%. So meaning that if you go below that minimum, you are not going to receive any additional points. And also, if you offer a price that is 0 or negative, then you will be excluded, because this is not acceptable in this case. The price that you offer for phase 1, of course, it will be the one that it will be observed. But for phase 2 and 3, even though it's an indicative price, it will act as a cap, meaning that if you, for example, for phase 2, offer 700,000, then once you prepare your offer for phase 2, if you reach that point, then you cannot say, okay, now I want to go up. No, this is a cap. You can offer less, but you cannot, go beyond what you offer in this estimative price. Next slide, please. Yeah, and well, of course, once you have been selected as contractor, there will be some next steps. No, we will be communicated that you have been selected or not. And then, of course, we have to observe some timing, and then after that, the contracts will be awarded. No? And you can see here the key date. So we have on the 25th of May, the contract notice was published in the Tender Electronic Daily. Now we are having this webinar for you to understand a little bit better the tender documents, understand how to submit a tender. The next step is on the 23rd of June, the deadline to submit questions on the tender. So, of course, now we are already answering to some questions. These questions, of course, on the webinar will be published, but you also have, as mentioned before, the possibility to submit questions through the Tutogare platform. You submit a question, the question comes to us, we reply to your question, and of course, the reply to the questions will be public because we want everybody to have the same level of information and be in equal conditions in order to submit a tender. And on the 25th of August at 6 o'clock, we will, the time to submit the tenders will be closed. So it will be it will not be possible after that to submit any tender or do any changes in the Tutogare platform. So I mentioned before a little bit on the 23rd of October, the idea is to have the framework agreement and phase 1 contract signed. And in November 2026, we will start with the phase 1 solution design, so the execution of the phase 1 contract. And then after that will come, as you can see here, the phase 2 and phase 3. But for now, let's focus on the first one, which is the most important. As mentioned before, this is indicative, so it may change if something happened that make this necessary. But this is a very good orientation of the timings of the tendering process. Next slide, please. And then, now it is the time for your questions. So I think some of them were already answered, but if you have any other questions, please feel free just to open your mic or you put them in the chat.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, so I think we can go. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Nina, for interrupting. Thank you for the presentation. Just a quick question on the IPR. I mean, we can go back to the documents later on and see it in details, but I profit from the fact that we are here. Can you please just go back to the idea of the IPR and the shared IPR, please? I mean, by default, the IPR is for the suppliers. And if we share it with the end customer, end user, there's a discount. I didn't really get the idea. If you can please go back to it.
Yes. So, there is no shared IPR in this case. So in this case, in the PCP, what we do is saying, okay, the suppliers work on a solution during the pre-commercial procurement. And at the end, you get the ownership of that. So you can further develop the solution, you can exploit it, you can basically commercialize, do whatever you like with it. But what we are buying in this case is research and development services, meaning that in principle, the default position, will be like, okay, I buy the research and development of the solution, meaning that I get the intellectual property rights of the solution because I'm paying for that. That will be the default scenario. So you need to submit a real price, like saying, okay, what will be the price in this situation in which I wouldn't keep anything, I wouldn't keep the ownership. I get paid to develop the solution, but the ownership is with the public buyers. In this case, as I mentioned, we prefer to use another approach, which is you can keep the ownership of intellectual property rights. You can do whatever you like. The only thing is you need to give the buyers a license to use this prototype. So obviously the price cannot be the same that in the situation that you get nothing, because you now get the ownership in order to exploit the solution. So this is why we ask for a real price and then a price with discount. Do you get it?
Yeah. But I mean, we can decide not to provide a price with a shared IPR. We can only give the right to use the license, but we can refuse to provide the price where we share the IPR with the end customer.
You don't share it. You keep it yourself.
Okay.
And you need to provide this discount because it's like that in the tender document. So you need to provide a discount at minimum 10%, but everything is stated in the call for tenders.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, now I see that we have another hand raised. Aurelien?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I understand the fact that you want the company to keep the IPR, but can we provide a solution where we develop some part of the software which is open source and where we will not keep the IP to ourselves?
Well, I mean, you can decide at the end if you don't want the IPR to say, okay, I don't want the IPR, you can keep it, but in any case, you need to provide the two prices. So because these are the conditions, the condition is that the IPR will be with you. It will be the same for everybody. If, of course, you don't want to keep the IPR at the end of the procedure, well, that's fine. You can decide to keep it, but yeah, this needs to be reflected in the price.
Okay, so basically it's not mandatory to have a commercial solution by the end. I mean, it can be part of open source and shared IP publicly.
Well, for that, I will actually give the floor to my technical colleagues because I don't know if this is technically feasible. But in principle, I don't think so. Don't think that the idea is to have anything open source. But Joseph, if you're here.
Yes, can you repeat the question, please?
The question is, can part of the delivery be an open source software? I mean, can we develop an open source software and deliver it by the end of the project? Or is it mandatory to have like a closed source software with IP at the company that to be kept by the company?
I mean, that's you would like to just let me understand the question. I mean that you would like to develop your solution and release it under an open source license. So this is what the question that you are.
Exactly, at least some part of it.
Okay, I mean this is we need to double check, and I prefer that we double check internally and then we submit. Let's say the answer, because actually so far we have. I mean, the problem, the contrary, means that it's too closed, and the economic providers, they were tending, of course, to protect their RPRs rather than release it under open source. But we will double check, because also here we are not in an open domain, so it is security based. Also, we're talking about evaluation from the security perspective, if such software could be released openly, or at least part of it, as you said. But of course, please submit, or let's take down this question, and then we submit an answer based on internal analysis.
Yeah, we'll just we have the question, so we'll submit the answer via the platform, so it will be available there for everyone. Okay.
Thank you for answers. Thanks.
Okay,
Sure.
so let me take the questions from the chat. So just to confirm, the slides from today's meeting together with the recording will be available on the project website. I will also send you an email when this is ready. So we'll have all the information. There was a question regarding the NDA. If there is a group answering as a consortium, should they sign the NDA for all of the actors of the group, or each has to do it in action for himself?
Should I take this one?
If you could, yes.
Yeah, so basically the NDA is to have access to the confidential annexes. So all information about the pilots, the requirements, etc. So in principle, it needs to be signed per organization. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. There is a question if the questions need to be submitted through messages. If there are email, like private, will list of questions and answers will be published for all participants to see. So in principle, yes, all the communication is open. We want to ensure that everybody has access to the same information and regarding the tendering procedures. So and the process is completely digital via the Tutsogara platform. So all questions have to be asked via the platform, and the answers will be published. We will also publish all the Q&As from the webinar and the ones that are coming up with the deadline on 23rd of June on the website as well. But maybe a little bit more of explanation, if I can ask, what do you mean by like more private questions? This was a question
Yes,
from
I think,
Bernard. Yeah.
yeah, I think because I think he refers to the fact that you have to just, so when you submit a question, it comes privately, which this is true. And of course, we can decide based on the platform if we make the answer basically if you reply to the person who sent the question, or we make it public. So for example, of course, when you send the NDA, we reply to you privately with the annex, no, that you are requesting. But in the case of the Q&A, we will publish it so everybody can see the questions and have all the information. So there is no way of have like a, let's say, private messages in this regard, because we want all the information to be public so everybody has the same opportunities to prepare a good tender. I hope this helps.
Okay, let me go further. We answer the questions. There is a question. Could you please recall the details to form the consortium, the minimal number of applicants, the minimal number of countries represented, their minimal size? So, yeah.
There is no minimum, or in this case, yeah, you can decide to join efforts with one company, 2 companies, 3 companies, as long as all together you comply with all the selection criteria and you have all the capabilities to participate in principle. And of course, concerning the territories we already mentioned before, that it needs to be in Europe or associated countries. But in principle, we don't have any kind of minimum requirements for consortia. For us, it's one offer. It doesn't matter if it comes from only one supplier or for a group of 3 or 4. Concerning, if I may take Nina, the one also for Bernard, concerning the intellectual property rights. Yes, of course, the public buyers are the ones who keep the license not to use the prototype internally, but they cannot provide that license for free to any other public buyers. We have the possibility, and is mentioned in the tender documents, to ask you to provide a license to other public organizations, but under market conditions, not for free. And of course, you still have the possibility of say, okay, this is what I developed so far. I want to develop it further as a supplier and commercialize the solution. So you still have the possibility. The public buyers cannot get any money from that. Thank you.
Okay, there is a question that 2 tests are meant to be executed without internet connections. Are solutions expected to run completely on edge? This is more technical question. I don't know, Yusuf or somebody from the buyers group, if they can answer this.
Yeah, can you always? I need to, because I heard my name. Can you repeat again the question?
The question says that the tests are meant to be executed without internet connections, our solution is expected to run completely on edge.
I mean, this is we will need to. They will need to check the detailed list of the requirements in general, so that because we have provided all the document, I mean the details. The test to be, I mean, said it needs to be tested without internet connection. I mean, just for let's say first answer, I would say no. And but of course we could provide the complete answer by writing. What was the second part? Is it expected to run completely on the edge? I mean, this is also it's up to them, because what do you mean? I mean, if we're talking about, for example, for the video processing or other sensors, I mean, would be how I see it. It should be a combination, some edge processing plus some other processing. But I see also Celine that would provide. I mean, she's more technical than me, so, and also she's one of the users of the solutions.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm Celine from SNCF. So regarding these questions, we put in the requirements that the tests have to be executed without internet connection, because if you're involving like personal data or data from like CCTV, of course we can't be connected to internet. But if you're talking about installation, of course you can have like executive file from internet, or if you have some some installation file to install, it's possible. But if we are talking about processing data, we are not open to internet because it's a closed environment. So, and for the edge questions, it depends on your solution. So it depends if you propose some servers or if your solution runs on edge. It depends.
Thank you, Celine, for the answer. Going further, there is a question. Could you please clarify the insurance requirements under SHIELD PCP? Does each consortium member need to have its own professional liability insurance policy, or is it sufficient only the consortium lead or the consortium entity to hold such insurance? Could you also confirm the specific requirements regarding the policy, including any minimum coverage amount and the required scope of coverage? And yeah, there was also Beatrice, I think you can take it. I saw that you already started replying in the chat.
Yeah, no, I don't think
I know it wasn't you, yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't reply,
No.
but yeah, I will be happy to take it. So, okay, the specific requirements are included in the framework agreement, TD2. So there you can find all the information about the minimum coverage, the situations which will be covered, etc. And concerning if each consortium member need to have its own professional liability insurance policy, what we want to ensure is that the contractor itself, regardless that if it's only one company or more than one, comply with these requirements. So as long as you as a consortium have this let's say liability insurance that cover the requirements that are included in the tender documents, then that's fine. So not each of the companies need to have it.
There was a note that the TD2 clause 22.8 specifies that the contractors have unlimited liabilities and the whole consortium is liable. That was just a note in the chat. I think we answered all the questions from the chat.
Maybe Nina, sorry, there is a question from Mathius Tomana about the tax code from the Tutogari platform. I know there was the demo, but but I think the person asked the questions after the demo.
No, we answered this after the demo when we had the questions regarding the Tutogara back then.
Actually, that tax code field is not optional; it's mandatory. And we have tax code for companies, but not for physical personas. So should I use the company tax code that I'm representing?
I will answer to this question. May I ask you what country you are from, please?
Slovakia.
Slovakia?
Yes.
Okay, so you are in the European Union.
Yeah.
Don't you have a personal tax code?
We
like
have
a physical person tax code,
like a birth number or something like that. It was I can try, but the validation didn't work for that one. I think I will try and I will submit a question on ticket on the platform if necessary.
Okay, yeah, of course we will handle that, but on a general basis, if you're a company, you can enter your company tax code, and if you are a professional, so a natural person, you can add your physical, your personal tax code. It usually works, but if you have any specific problems, you can contact us through the help desk, of course.
Okay, thank you. There was another question regarding the project management role. Can we confirm whether this applies to the coordinator or all the partners of the consortium?
I'm sorry, Nina, once you read my question, I realized it was maybe not very explicit. It's about the CV, whether the CV
okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Beatrice, could you take this one?
Yes, I think I mentioned that before. So there is no specific template for the CVs, so you can decide to submit in the template you prefer.
I'm sorry. Yes, regarding the template, that was very clear. But imagining that there is a consortium, do we need to ensure that the coordinator is able to provide the competence of a project manager able to lead this, or every single partner has to prove that they have this kind of competences internally?
No, of course. So basically, what you need to ensure, doesn't matter if you're an only company or more than one. So for us, you are one, basically. So okay. So you need to ensure that all together comply with the requirements, not that each of you have the requirements. So imagine that you are a company and you say, okay, I don't have somebody, an engineer with, I don't know, 5 years of experience in these domains. So then you can reach for a partner in order to complement your capabilities. And the same goes with the insurance. So of course there are certain requirements concerning insurance. It doesn't need to be that each of you have a specific insurance. Perhaps only one of you have an insurance that covers all of it. A different thing is how you distribute, and this is something also another question, how you distribute your rights as obligations within your consortium. So for us, you need to comply with what we ask for. Internally, it's up to you to decide, okay, which are my rights and which are my obligations as a partner in this consortium. So how we are going to deal with intellectual property rights within the consortium, or how we are going to distribute the liability within the consortium. This is something that is up to you. I hope it is clear.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
There was also like more clarification needed on the clause 22.8 of TD2. There were let me read it. I was expecting a word on if this can be amended in any way, as this is very difficult to handle for SMEs.
Yes.
So that on the unlimited liabilities as a whole consortium is liable.
Yeah, so indeed, so at this point, we cannot amend the clauses. So this is what we ask for. I do understand that it may be sometimes challenging, but also if you read the article, you will see that the situations are specific. So it's not like, every kind of situation that may arise, or specific situations. And then, of course, you can always, as mentioned, as SME, the most suitable scenario is to find partners, because the challenge is complex. The requirements, of course, in in relation to the challenge are also complex. So if you see that as an SMEs for you is not suitable, or you cannot make it because you lack capabilities, please reach out to other people that, of course, probably will be in the same situation, and then you together can collaborate and still participate. That's the idea. I mean, we try to do it as much SME-friendly as we can, of course, but yeah, the challenge is complex and requires certain capabilities.
Okay, so those will be all the questions from the chat. Now, are there any additional questions? Oh yeah, there is another one. What is the rationale for not consuming all the budget allotted to the contenders? This is questioning the rationale for establishing capped pricing and lower pricing, resulting of potentially not distributing all planned budget the SHIELD PCP shall observe contractually within the commission.
Yeah, should I take it? Yeah.
Yeah, if you could, like regarding the financial aspects.
Okay, so of course, what we want there is that you compete a little bit on price as well, because of course the price is 10 points, so it's like a minimum because it's a PCP. We want to ensure the quality of the solutions and the qualitative aspects, but with this formula, we ensure that you are also a little bit competitive and you can compete on price also for the next phases. And let me check it properly. This question rationale. Resulting potential not distributing the planet budget. Yeah. So yeah, the plan. Of course, what we can do is if we have extra budget, we can move it to the next phase, and then we can decide well how we are going to distribute that budget. Basically, depending on several aspects. First of all, how many offers we receive, because it may happen that we receive more than expected. And then if we have extra budget, we can already fund another offer, or yeah, in this case, or if we don't have enough suppliers that participate and are eligible and comply with all the requirements, then of course we'll have an extra budget that we will need to distribute for the upcoming phases. But as I mentioned before, also the weighted hour criteria, of course, are fixed, but the weight and all the other aspects can be modified in the upcoming phases. So this will be dealt with if it happens, the situation. We will ensure that when we launch the call off for phase 2 or phase 3, we will also take this in consideration.
Thank you, Beatrice. Are there any other questions? Okay, if not, I want to remind you that you can still submit them via the Tutogare platform until the 23rd of June. We'll publish all the answers and the questions that we had today in the session also on the platform, and then on the project website, you'll receive the links to the slides from today and also to the recording. So as for now, I would like to thank you very much to Beatrice, Norma, and Gianmarco for their presentations, everybody for participation and the questions. And yeah, have a nice day, and we hope to see your tenders coming in the platform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Gianmarco. Bye.
Bye.